So FNAF is 10 years old now.
A whole decade of animatronic rabbits, foxes, and bears, and a story that totally makes sense. I mean, it has been 10 years after all. I'd hope that we got that whole what's in the box thing figured out, at least by now, right?
There is something in the box, but I never pursued it, and I don't know if I can find it again. And I think that that's the best answer that I can possibly give for that.
Anyway, that aside, it's so crazy to me that this franchise is already a decade old. I think for this video what I'm going to do is go down a timeline of what was going on in my life during this franchise's existence and explain what each game would mean to me and the franchise as a whole as time goes on. So I had just started first grade when the original game came out on August 8th of 2014. I remember seeing one of my friends at the time play it on his iPad. He was switching through the cameras and then boom, Bonnie's right there with his 2-frame jump scare animation. Me, him, and everyone watching jumped back because the last thing we expected to see was, well, this. I remember being so intrigued after seeing that because the game had never made me feel that way before. Obviously nowadays the jump scares to me are a little silly looking, I mean especially on the old mobile port where almost all of the jump scares were like 2 frames with their mouths just opening and closing. But to a first grader that's some scary stuff. I remember when the second game came out like around November, I thought it was the most boring thing ever because when I played it, it was only night 1 and so I was getting bored because nothing was happening, which is pretty ironic considering the chaotic nature of the game. But around the same time I got my first tablet, and the first games I got on it were the FNAF 1 and 2 demos. I went through both of them pretty quickly and I wanted to play more, so eventually my dad got the full games of FNAF 1 and 2 on my tablet and I played the 2 non-stop. There's so much nostalgia I have with the first 2 games because those were the core memories I had when I was around the age of those 2 games coming out. I remember getting really good at them and I would sneak my tablet to school and show off my FNAF skills to everybody. I also remember back in those times there were a lot of mystery and hoaxes that went around because back then decompiling the game wasn't really an option, so most of what people said about the games people would believe, me included. I remember the Sparky the Dog hoax where sometimes you'd see him in the back room, as well as the Purple Guy hoax where he'd replace Golden Freddy on very rare occasions, all of which I believed of course. I also remember my friends telling me certain things about the games that weren't true, such as honking Freddy's nose would make Foxy more aggressive in the first game. Oh, you naive little child. So when FNAF 3 rolled around in March, I thought Springtrap was cool, and I remember specifically watching Markiplier play through that one right when it came out. But for the game itself, I didn't really like it at all compared to the other 2. Then in July when FNAF 4 came out, I thought it was cool, but second grade me was too scared to ever play it, or watch it unless one of my friends played it at school, and if they did, I was always tense watching them. Afterward, I kinda lost interest in the series for a bit. I remember hearing about FNAF World but never playing it at first. I also remember before Sister Location came out, my friend was talking to me about the trailer that Scott put out, and the whole time I was thinking, what is a Sister Location? Like, are we still talking about FNAF? Then when it did come out in October of 2016, I really didn't like it at all because it wasn't like a traditional FNAF game at all. And same with Pizzeria Simulator when it came out a year later in December of 2017. Now I did still play the first 3 games at times, but I sort of started to lose that feeling I once had with the series. Then on December 31st, 2017, I would create this YouTube channel, and on February 8th, 2018, I would post my first video titled FNAF 2 Night 1 iPad.
Hello guys. I am going to be showing you how to beat the first night on Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Oh, 10-year-old me, if only you knew what was to come. So then FNAF would become a staple on this channel. I would continue to upload gameplay videos on my tablet of the games.
Hey guys, it's me, and today we're going to be playing Five Nights at Freddy's 1, and I've been playing it lately, and I've made it to the custom night without the cheats. They're off.
A lot of my older videos had been privated just because they're absolutely unbearable for me to watch, and I don't want to put you, the viewer, through the mental anguish of watching 10-year-old me play and commentate over FNAF game. So then on June 27th, 2018, UCN would roll around, and I thought the idea of the game was really cool, even if I didn't know who was on half the roster. And so I would upload videos on the game when it came out.
Hello everybody, it is the Ultimate Gamer 3050 here, and today we are going to be playing Ultimate Custom Night. And now we're doing the animatronics that, like Aunt Happy Frog, Mr. Hippo, Pig Patch, Ned Bear, and Orville Elephant. We're putting them all on 20, And they have the same mechanic, and they're different animatronics we've never heard of from the Five Nights at Freddy's besides this game, so we're gonna try this.
The game still hadn't piqued my interest, and I didn't really give it any thought other than the few gameplay videos I did on it. There was a point where my interest in the main series died a decent bit, so I would upload playthroughs of fan games I found interesting on GameJolt.
So, oh, that's an actual ringtone. Okay, well, welcome guys to another video.
Okay, good, yeah.
Then when the FNAF VR trailer came out in March of 2019, I did a reaction and analysis video on it.
What is up, everybody? It is the Ultimate Gamer 3050, and today we are going to be reacting to Help Wanted Five Nights at Freddy's VR. So, and we're also going to be doing a breakdown. So, let's get into this.
Yeah, after that I didn't really have anything to do with that game. I didn't have a VR headset to play it on, and I didn't even watch any videos on it. Are you noticing a trend here? Most of these newer games I'm not as invested in because what I was interested at the time was FNAF for what it was when it came out, not what it was becoming. Even now, the Stillwell games don't interest me at all, really. That aside though, Security Breach would become announced on FNAF's 5th anniversary, which in hindsight is crazy to think about the fact that Security Breach was announced 5 years ago. But anyway, when it did get announced, I was sort of excited for it. This was around the time when I started getting older and I started getting uninterested in the series as a whole though. Around a year later, somewhere at the end of 2020, my brother insisted that we both played Sister Location together. I didn't really like Sister Location at the time, but he seemed to really want to play it, so later that night we did. And wow, did it change my perspective on the game. We stayed up all night getting through the 5 nights and dying on night 4 for almost 2 hours straight. Before this, I had only gotten to night 3 on the old version when the game first came out, and I didn't even enjoy it when I was playing it at the time. But replaying the remastered version in 2020 and completing the main game, my whole perspective on the game changed. It went from one of my least favorite FNAF games to one of my favorites. There were so many tense moments when I played it that I just didn't experience with the other games because of how much I overplayed them. It was a feeling I longed to get again, one that I hadn't experienced since 2015, 5 years before that point. Around this time, I started really getting into game development. I made my first game on Pocket Code, a mobile game development app, and a pretty bad one at that. And since I had just realized how good of a game Sister Location was, that is what my first game was based on. So on December 14th, 2020, I would publish my first game titled Sister Location Simulator Android Demo. Oh, what a name. Then that Christmas, I had gotten a computer as well as ClickTeam, which if you didn't know was the engine the original FNAF games were built on. I would then watch tutorials on YouTube for how to make a FNAF game on ClickTeam, and while I did learn a bit, in hindsight that definitely, at least for me, isn't how to learn an engine. Because while it taught me certain things, there was a lot of information that I either didn't understand or it just wasn't out there for how to do certain things. And so my first ClickTeam game, Chaos at Freddy's, got scrapped just because there was too much I didn't know about the engine, and I was getting overwhelmed with not being able to understand how to do certain things. Which is actually kind of funny because of how ClickTeam's coding works, which there is no actual coding. It's all block-based and very user-friendly, but I guess my 12-year-old brain couldn't comprehend all of that at the time. I did later post the devlog to the game on my current GameJolt account, and you can play it if you want to see how my first game was going, but it's half finished, so I definitely wouldn't recommend it. This is around the time where I got really interested in the technical side of FNAF. I would decompile the games to the format where you could view every single line of code for the original games in ClickTeam. I would analyze what Scott did in the mainline FNAF games to help me with my future FNAF fan game projects. I would later update one of my games to include FNAF characters, that game being Cat Panic. This sort of taught me a little bit more about the engine, but I wasn't fully there yet. Then in the summer of 2021, I started really appreciating Ultimate Custom Night. Since I started becoming really interested in the technical aspects of the games, Ultimate Custom Night really stood out to me because of the diverse mechanics of the game, and there was a lot of technicality to learn about. I started streaming the game on console, and I remember at one certain time I was streaming the game, someone would come into the chat and help me out with what I was trying to be at the time, that being 40/20 mode. This person was True Player, who some of you may know. Afterward, we started really talking on Discord, and after looking at his channel, it really got me into the FNAF Max mode scene. There's a whole community of people dedicated to beating the hardest modes of the mainline FNAF games, along with the fan games. This would later inspire me to push my skill with the games even further. But anyway, after getting interested in UCN and the whole Max mode scene, I decided to make another FNAF fan game, but this time I actually finished it. It was going to be a UCN style game where I combine every animatronic I can think of into this one difficult night. The main goal for the development of the game was to learn ClickTeam, since before I still didn't fully understand everything. So this time I made the entire engine from scratch scratch and I didn't follow any tutorials. And wow, did I learn a lot. After I completed the game, I basically understood everything I needed to for a FNAF fan game on ClickTeam at least. And so on October 31st, 2021, I would release the mess that is A Chaotic Night at Freddy's. There are 5 difficulty modes for the game, and to this day only the first 2 modes have been completed.
I beat it! Oh my f***ing god! Yes! Oh my god!
It'd definitely be more interesting to see if the impossible mode is even possible, because I really doubt that it even is. The goal wasn't even for the mode to be possible, the main goal was to learn ClickTeam through the development of the game, which I did. Anyway, that aside, Security Breach, after being delayed several times, got released on December 16th, 2021. I bought the game on launch, played it once, got bored, then stopped playing. Every so often I'll try and come back to the game, but I just can't get interested enough in it to get through it. Maybe that will change in the future, but for now it's just going to keep collecting dust in my game library. Later on in the summer of 2022, I decided to go for the Golden Freddy mode in FNAF 2.
Hello stream, welcome. Today we're doing the dreaded 1020. And it's gonna suck, but I'm ready.
During this time, FNAF 2 had been one of my favorite FNAF games since I beat the demo when I originally got it on my tablet. And while I was good at it, I never actually beat the max mode of the game. Actually, the only max mode I had completed before this was FNAF 1's 420 mode back in 2021. So I streamed the whole thing, and I enjoyed all of it, of course.
Editor Sai here. I'm going to show you guys a quick compilation of my experience with 1020 mode so you can really see what I really had to go through. And this is only scratching the surface on how many times I actually died.
What? They just pulled down my camera. I think I'm dead. Hello?
Yeah, it's a death.
That's...
Yeah.
Can somebody explain? And yeah, okay guys, the run's over.
Yeah.
Did you see that, Nick? How stupid that was.
Oh, that's even worse.
Hi, Bonnie. Why are you just standing there? What's going on?
What the?
And I'm dead. Oh my gosh, it's always Withered Bonnie now.
No.
Hey, look, Endo. It's an endoskeleton. Okay, I'm not done, but... Okay, I'm done.
Think so. They keep that to everything else.
And it's another death to the puppet. What? What? That's so, like, lucky. No. No! 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 No!
Yeah, that was 10 seconds from winning, by the way. I had a run after that in the exact same way, but it was 5 seconds away. But after 6 hours worth of attempts and getting advice from True Player and my other friends, I persevered and I beat the mode. God, I wish I had my reaction to that. I was ecstatic after I just went through what was RNG hell. And that was the first time a game had made me feel that way. I had never been so happy to complete something in my life. My interest in UCN was still very well there at the time, and there was this certain mode that I really wanted to complete. Little did I know how much anguish it would cause me for the next 10 months. Yeah, learning this game wasn't easy, but I had gotten to and completed 4920 mode pretty quickly, and so all I needed to do was complete that with one extra character. That's easy, right? Yeah, about that. That one character is actually pretty problematic to the strategy used prior to adding him, due to the fact that you can't switch his camera at any given time throughout the night. You must death coin him by farming coins in the beginning of the night. This can lead to very many RNG deaths with Toy Freddy and Foxy down the road, and on top of that, it takes a while to learn. Then afterward, you get to deal with 6 extra characters spawned in, including RWQ, FSFA, XXC, plus Trap Nightmare, Chica Bonnet, Mini Arena, and Lobit, all spawned by Shadow DD, otherwise known as Zor. Why this wasn't called 5720 is beyond me. I hate you, Scott. This mode sucks. In all seriousness, I was not at all prepared for 5020 mode. The spike in difference in difficulty from 4920 was way more than I was ever expecting or could handle. It took around 9 months to complete this, even if a lot of that time was me completely giving up for a certain amount of time. In November of 2022, I got a Music Man death 8 seconds before winning, which demotivated me from playing this for a while. Seriously guys, I don't think I had ever experienced grief as bad as this, and I've had family members and pets die, and yet I hadn't felt this shocked or upset by something. But I guess you can't really compare the two since they're totally different.
Here's Editor Me once again, and I'm gonna do the same thing that I did with FNAF 2 and just give you guys a glimpse of what I went through with 5020 mode and do a little compilation.
Because I just can't do it. I don't know how people are controlling console like it's like a mouse on keyboard and mouse. I don't know how. I don't know how you use this cursor as good as you guys do. What happens in this game? Can I see? Oh my gosh! Oh no, I wasn't paying attention. Because every time that I try to flip the wet floor sign, Nightmarian is always, I mean always, lingering over the wet floor sign. It's always the case. I don't think I switched the sign one time when Nightmarian was not in that exact position, just sitting right there. And when you want to flip the red floor, I don't have any time to not flip the wet floor sign, so when Nightmarian's there, it just causes more problems. So it's gonna stall me out with flipping up the camera. And then Toy Freddy's gonna be mad, and it's gonna stall more time out, and it's just gonna be a horrible thing, and that's because Nightmarian sucks. And then if I do good and Toy Freddy doesn't kill me, I always die to something stupid. Nightmare Freddy should not have killed me, but he did. Like, why? Why? Whoa! Like, I have no idea at all what I'm doing. I have no idea. What the? Oh, and Foxy was in there. Foxy was in my room at 30 seconds in. Oh my gosh. That has to be the absolute worst random luck I've ever seen.
Please deposit.
Oh my gosh, I can't shut anything. I can't. My hands are like in a position where I cannot shut anything. So if I get Nightmare in my door, I should just give up on the run. I don't know. I'm too focused on trying to death because it takes me so long to get that cursor there. Because if I barely nudge it, it goes too far. And if I hold L2, then I still can't do anything. If I barely nudge it, it goes too far. So I have to keep nudge until it's right over there so I can hit it. And then I have to watch plus trap wait for him to go away to hit hold L2 so I can switch all the way down to the cameras, and it's just too much for my little brain to handle. What?
I can't run like I used
307.
to, but I can pull myself apart just fine.
We got 307, guys. New PB. Bro! Toy Freddy's gonna kill us. As I said, because I'm getting the worst Toy Freddy RNG. This stream, almost 90% of my runs have died to Toy Freddy.
But the mental toll this had on me wasn't healthy in the slightest. Every day this mode would be in the back of my mind telling me to get back on and try one more time. But when I would, Toy Freddy or Foxy would kill me every single time I would get anywhere with the mode. Failing because of your mistake is one thing, but failing due to bad random number generation is another. But eventually on May 7th, 2023, and on my final attempt for that day, I completed what was the worst experience of a mode or even game in general. I know I said I wish y'all could hear me during my FNAF 2 1020 mode completion, but I really wish you could hear my reaction to this. I sounded like Daka when he beat the mode. The torture and pain had finally come to an end. After that, I was ready to complete the rest of the max modes in the series since I knew nothing could be worse than what I had just went through. So on June 10th of 2023, I finally got the courage to complete FNAF 4 and did all 8 nights, realizing that it wasn't that scary and that I really liked the game and the flow of the gameplay as well. A day later, I would fluke Nightmare Aggressive mode for FNAF 3, and on the same day, I beat Saturday through watching Ambience's guides on the completion ending. And finally, a day after that, I completed Sister Location's 1020 mode, which was definitely more challenging than the other games, but still not too bad. I had done the max modes of all the Click Team games, and I had realized that FNAF 3, 4, and Pizzeria Simulator might have been better than I originally thought they were. I remember thinking getting the good ending in FNAF 3 was really fun and cool, and the Tycoon mode in Pizzeria Simulator was fun as well. Then, a little under 2 months after that, I released my most recent FNAF fan game, Sister Location Ultra Custom Night. And I'm really proud of how this game turned out. It's also really cool to see people play the game on YouTube and to see people complete the max modes for the game. Then a little under 4 months after that, on October 27th, 2023, the official Five Nights at Freddy's movie by Blumhouse would come out. I remember watching it the day it came out with my dad, brother, and sister, and it was such a surreal experience. Ever since Scott announcing there would be a movie all the way back in 2015, I had always been looking forward to seeing it, and then 15-year-old me got to after 8 years of waiting. That was definitely my favorite recent event in terms of FNAF at least. And now here we are in 2024. Recently I've been revisiting my nostalgia and completing the old mobile ports for the games for my YouTube channel. One of which has caused me a lot of stress right now because of a certain mode I'm having trouble beating because of certain features it has. But I'm sure I'll get through it eventually, just as I did with all the other things I had to put up with on beating certain modes for these games. But here we are now, August 2024. I was a 6-year-old in first grade when the first game came out, and now I'm a 16-year-old going into my junior year of high school. In a year and a half, I'll be a full-on adult, and in 2 years, I'll be out of school. This series has been with me through basically my whole life, and due to the awesomeness of ADHD, my hyperfixations for the series will probably keep me invested in this franchise for many more years to come. There has been so much going on this week in terms of FNAF stuff, including the Into the Pit game, 5 Laps at Freddy's, the Scott interview, and a bunch of other crazy things. This week has definitely been a massive W for FNAF for sure. And while I may not be the biggest fan of the modern day games and all that, I'm still excited to see what happens for the future of this franchise. And who knows, maybe one day I'll come around and find the true hidden value these games have, much like I did with half the FNAF games I like now. It's been an incredible 10 years with the FNAF series, and I can't wait to see what's next. Let me know your thoughts in the description, and if you like videos like this, make sure to like and subscribe as well. Anyway guys, that's all for now.